This is my husband. You wanted a virgin. I never told you I was one. You assumed. Your family assumed. The whole village assumed. Because I go to church and dress modestly. But I have a boyfriend. We've been together since university. I'm 4 months pregnant for him. My parents forced me to accept your proposal.
Listen, I'm only going to say this once. If you've ever thrown away something real while chasing something perfect, you need to hear this story. If you've ever judged someone by their past instead of their heart, you need to hear this story. And if you think you know how this ends, you don't. So before you scroll, before you click away, I'm warning you. What happened in my village 3 years ago will change how you see loyalty, love, and the dangerous lie we've been told about purity. This is not just a story. This is a lesson written in blood, tears, and regret. Stay with me. My village is called Umora. Small place. Everybody knows everybody. And everybody knew Brother James. James was the catch. 32 years old, government work, good money, owns a car, built a house for his mother. The kind of man that when he walks into a room, fathers start calling their daughters. And he had a woman. Her name was Grace. Grace was not the prettiest girl in the village. She was not the one with the longest Brazilian hair or the one wearing the latest fashion. But that woman loved James like loving him was her life's assignment. 8 years they were together. 8 years. Let me tell you what Grace did for this man so you understand the level of loyalty we're talking about. When James's father died suddenly and there was no burial money, Grace sold every piece of gold jewelry she owned. Her earrings, her necklace, the bracelet her own mother gave her. She sold everything without him even asking. When James lost his job and sat at home for 2 full years drinking and feeling sorry for himself, who do you think woke up at 4 a.m. every morning to fry bean cakes and sell them so there would be food in that house? Grace. When his younger sister needed university fees and his family had nothing, who contributed from her own small savings? Grace. That woman was a foundation, solid, unshakable, the kind of partner people pray for. But James had a problem with Grace. One problem that he could never let go of. She was not a virgin when they met. Now pause right here. Comment virgin if you can already see where this train is headed. Because what James did next is the reason old women in my village still shake their heads when they talk about him. James never let her forget it. Every single argument, it would come up like a weapon. You gave yourself to another man before me. How can I take you to meet my family when you are not pure? My mother says a real man marries a virgin, someone clean. Clean. He used that word about her. Clean. Like 8 years of sacrifice meant nothing because of what happened before they even met. But here's the worst part. The part that makes my stomach turn even now. The abortions. 8 times. Count it. 8 times Grace got pregnant for James. 8 times he looked her in the eye and said, "We can't keep it. I'm not ready. My family will never accept you because of your past. We have to wait until I find the right time." 8 times she walked into that backstreet clinic and removed his child from her womb. 8 times a piece of her soul died. But she stayed because she believed in him, because she thought love would be enough, because she kept hoping that one day he would see her value. That day never came. Instead, a girl named Blessing came. Blessing was fresh, 23 years old, just finished her degree, moved to the village to do her NYSC, pretty face, church girl, sang in the choir, wore long skirts, carried her Bible everywhere. And according to every gossiping auntie in the village who somehow knows everyone's business, Blessing was certified, stamped, and approved a virgin. James saw her one Sunday in church, and something clicked in his brain like a padlock. This was it. This was the pure, untouched, church-going wife his mother would dance for. This was the woman he could present to his family with his chest out. This was what he'd been waiting for. He didn't even break up with Grace properly. He just stopped calling, stopped showing up, started dodging her completely. When Grace finally cornered him at his house, demanding to know what was happening, he said words that I still remember because I was there. I heard it with my own ears. I found someone better, someone pure, someone my family will be proud of. You need to accept reality and move on. Grace stood there. This woman who sold her gold for his father's funeral. This woman who fed him when he had nothing. This woman who destroyed her own body 8 times because he said he wasn't ready. She asked him one question, just one. After everything, this is what I meant to you. And James, this man, looked at her with cold eyes and said, you were always temporary. I was just waiting for the real thing. Temporary. 8 years. 8 pregnancies, 8 million ways she proved her love. Temporary. Stop scrolling and comment temporary right now if you felt that word like a nice. Because what happens next is going to blow your mind. Grace didn't cry, didn't beg, didn't cause a scene. She just looked at him for a long moment, nodded slowly and walked away. The village erupted with talk. James has finally become serious. Man, that blessing girl is a good choice. Virgin, clean, no baggage. Grace wasted her time, Sha. She should have moved on years ago. Meanwhile, James was on top of the world. His family threw a party when he introduced Blessing. His mother literally danced in the compound. The bride's price was paid, wedding date was set. Everything was moving fast. Traditional marriage day came. Now, if you know Igbo culture, you know about the wine carrying ceremony. The bride takes a cup of palm wine and walks through the crowd to find her husband and present it to him. It's the moment she publicly chooses him. Sacred, symbolic. The whole wedding depends on it. Blessing came out looking like royalty. Coral beds stacked on her neck, gold everywhere, traditional attire that probably cost more than some people's rent, makeup flawless, looking like she stepped out of a magazine. The whole village was there. James was sitting in the front row, chest puffed out, grinning like he'd won the lottery. His friends were spraying money. The DJ was blasting the latest Burna Boy song. The vibe was immaculate. Blessing knelt with the wine cup, started moving through the crowd slowly, searching, building suspense. She walked right past James. People laughed. They said she's making it dramatic. She kept walking all the way to the back. She stopped in front of a man, not James, a young guy, simple clothes, nervous face. She lifted the cup to him and said, loud enough for the microphone to catch it, "This is my husband. This is the father of my child." The music cut off like someone ripped the plug. Complete silence. You could hear a pin drop in that compound. James jumped up so fast his cap fell off. What? Blessing, what is this? Blessing turned to face him and the expression on her face was ice, pure ice. You wanted a virgin. I never told you I was one. You assumed, your family assumed, the whole village assumed because I go to church and dress modestly. But I have a boyfriend, we've been together since university, and I'm 4 months pregnant for him. And today was supposed to be our traditional marriage until your people came with money and pressure and convinced my parents to choose you. The place exploded. James's mother fainted, actually fainted. People rushed to fan her. James was shaking, mouth opening and closing like a fish, no words coming out. Blessing continued. My parents forced me to accept your proposal because you have money and a car and a government job, but I never loved you. I was never going to marry you. And I've been with my boyfriend this whole time while you are busy planning a wedding I never wanted. She handed the cup to her real man, took his hand, and they walked out together, leaving James standing there like a statue in front of the entire village. Are you still breathing? Drop an emoji if your jaw just hit the floor because it gets even worse. James became the village joke overnight. Children made up songs about him. Adults used his name as a warning. Don't be like James, the one who chased virgin and got disgraced. His family quietly returned the bride price. Couldn't even do it publicly because the shame was too heavy. James fell apart, started drinking heavily, lost weight, stopped going to work, just sat at home replaying that moment in his head over and over. 2 months later, on a random evening, someone knocked on his door. He opened it. Grace was standing there with a food flask. "I heard you haven't been eating well," she said quietly. James collapsed right there, broke down completely. Tears, sobbing, the full emotional breakdown. "I'm sorry," he choked out. "I'm so sorry. I was a fool. I was wicked. I threw away gold to chase plastic. I'm sorry for everything, for the abortions, for calling you temporary, for everything I put you through. Please, please forgive me. Give me another chance." Grace set the flask down slowly, looked at him for a long moment. "James," she said softly, "I forgave you months ago. Not because you deserved it, but because I needed to heal. I needed to move forward, and I have." "Please," he begged on his knees, "I've changed. I see your worth now. I see everything you did for me. Please don't leave me like this." Grace smiled, but it was a sad, tired smile. The smile of someone who has survived something that almost destroyed them. "I can't come back to you," she said. "Not because I hate you, but because I finally learned to love myself. Those 8 abortions damaged my womb, James. The doctor says I might never carry a child to term. You took that from me. You took my time, my youth, my peace. You took everything, and then you called it temporary." She picked up her bag. "I'm getting married in 3 weeks," she said, "to a man who doesn't care about my past, a man who sees my heart, a man who has spent the last year helping me heal from what you did, a man who knows my value." James grabbed her ankle. "Grace, please, I'm begging." "Goodbye, James. I pray you find peace, and I pray you learn that a woman's worth has nothing to do with her sexual history. It has everything to do with her character. You had a woman of character, and you threw her away for an assumption." She walked away and never came back. Comment right now. Was Grace right to walk away, or should she have given him a second chance? I want to see what you think, because people argue about this in my village to this day. James is still there, still single, still carrying the weight of his choices. He sees Grace sometimes in the market with her husband and the children they adopted together. She glows, she laughs, she's free, and he knows he had that. He had a woman who would have died for him, and he destroyed her because he was chasing an idea that didn't even exist. The elders now use his story to teach young men. That one chased a virgin and ended up with nothing. Character is what matters. Loyalty is what matters, not some outdated idea of purity. Because here's the real truth this story teaches. Virginity is not loyalty. Virginity is not love. Virginity is not character. Virginity is just a physical state that tells you absolutely nothing about the content of a person's heart. James wanted a virgin because he thought it made him look good. He thought it would impress his family. He thought it guaranteed him a virtuous wife. He got what he wanted, and it destroyed his entire life. Meanwhile, Grace, the woman he called not pure enough, was the most loyal, pure-hearted person he ever had. Pure in her love, pure in her sacrifice, pure in her dedication. And he was too blind, too foolish, too caught up in appearance to see it. Let me ask you something, and I want you to really think about this. Why do we judge women by their past, but men by their present? Why is a woman with a sexual history damaged, but a man with the same history experienced? Why did James feel entitled to sleep with Grace, get her pregnant 8 times, but still demand she be pure for marriage? The hypocrisy is sickening, and it destroys lives. Grace deserved better from day one. Thankfully, she found it, but not before wasting 8 years on someone who saw her as practice for the real thing. If this story changed something in you, share it now, not later, now. There's a woman somewhere right now being treated exactly like Grace. She needs to see this. She needs to know her worth isn't tied to her past. Subscribe if you are new here. We tell African stories that hit different. Real stories with real lessons that will make you rethink everything. Comment your biggest lesson from James' story. Is it don't value appearance over character? Is it loyalty matters more than virginity? Is it karma is real or something else entirely? Drop your answer below. I read every single comment. And remember, the person you are calling temporary today might be the permanent blessing you will regret losing tomorrow. Treat people by their heart, not their history. Judge them by their actions, not their past. James learned this lesson in the most painful way possible. Don't be like James. I'll see you in the next story.